Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you about how to get to work when you don't necessarily feel like it, because nobody feels creative all the time, and it's not necessary to feel creative to go be creative and feel that great energy come through your fingers. I was just in Santa Fe where I had the incredible privilege of seeing a show by one of my favorite artists, Chuck Close, who said in a great documentary about him that you have to see, "Inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us just get to work." I love that quote because for me it was so liberating, and it made me remember that there are so many cliches and stereotypes about creative people, like that we have to wait for inspiration, that we have muses, that we are visited by unseen and mysterious forces that drop on our heads like God knows what from the sky. I don't know about you, but this doesn't happen to me. And what happens for me is that my best work comes through my fingers and the process itself. So whatever it is that you do and what kind of creative person you are doesn't so much matter. The point is how to get to work without waiting for that inspiration or so-called inspiration. And if you haven't seen it, there was a very funny movie about this called The Muse with Sharon Stone, which I highly recommend, an Albert Brooks movie. Anyway, that's just an aside. Getting back to the business at hand, how do you get to work when you don't feel like it? And how do you get that feeling of motivation when you're tired, maybe you're overwhelmed by the task at hand, and you just don't know what to do with yourself? So you procrastinate, you run to the TV set, you run to the kitchen, you leave the building, whatever. There are lots of kinds of anxiety that come with creative work because we are all so capable of knowing what we can do or feeling that potential rise within us, and that can be overwhelming. So sometimes there's the good kind of anxiety, which is being really excited and exhilarated by the process that you've just learned or what you know you're going to do, or maybe you've gotten a big commission and you're really excited about it. And then there's the bad kind of anxiety, which is born of fear of exposure, fear of disapproval, fear of failing, fear of not meeting a deadline, fear of just not really being able to pull it all together. So either way, anxiety can accompany the process. So here's what I recommend to get to work, whether you feel like it or not. Athletes, Olympians, professional teams, what do they do to get ready? They warm up, right? So how can creative people warm up? Well, I warm up by just entering the space, in this case my studio because I'm a fine artist, and I get familiar with the space. I make myself comfortable at my table, and if I feel overwhelmed by the project at hand, I just work on something else, like maybe a doodle or a crossword puzzle. Another great tip is to work on many things at once so that your anxiety is spread across the table, and this way you don't give one object the responsibility of being good or successful, whatever that means, but you're actually just engaging in an activity of creativity. So you're doing a kind of call and response with each of your pieces, and that way you can conduct lots of experiments too and not feel stymied by the pressure of having to do one fabulous thing. Gives you lots more room to experiment off to the side. So think of yourself as an athlete. You are a maker, or you are a writer, or you are a musician, or whatever you do that's creative. It is a process that involves engagement, and to kind of sneak up on that engagement helps mitigate the anxiety that can often accompany it. So I say, just get in there, get familiar with the space, get your hands dirty, have a nice cup of coffee, whatever you need to make you comfortable, and enjoy the process.